Yeah. Hello, teacher. Today I'm going to identify the difference between formative and summative assessment. What is formative assessment? It refers to a wide variety of methods that teacher can use to conduct in-process evaluation of students' comprehension, learning needs, and academic progress during a lesson, unit, or course. The goal of formative assessment is to monitor students' learning to provide ongoing feedback. This can be used by teachers to improve their teaching and by students to improve their learning. The formative assessment helps teachers to identify concepts that students are struggling to understanding, skills they are having difficulty acquiring, or learning standards they have not yet achieved, so that adjustments can be made to lessons, instructional techniques, and academic support. Um, Formative assessments also help students to identify their strengths and weaknesses and target areas that they need to work to with aim to achieve the the knowledge that they are established in the curriculum. Here we can see some examples of formative assessment. Um, One of them are the quizzes, like Kahoot, quiz. Another is when a teacher asks their students to draw a concept map in class to represent their understanding of the topic, or when the teacher asks to her students to submit one or two sentences with the objective of identify the main point of a reading. Another way to evaluate is to generate a discussion in class where students have the opportunity to analyze and give their own criteria for the topic studied. Um, the second question is, what is summative assessment? It's a method of evaluation performed at the end of the unit or at the end of a term. For example, a year or semester that allows the summative assessment allows a teacher to measure a student's understanding, typically against standardized criteria. Summative assessment often have a high point value and take place under controlled conditions, like limit of time. Um, Another point is that summative assessment require clear expectations and timelines to be set to give students the best opportunity to succeed. Uh, the results of summative assessments are usually significant, used to determine whether students pass or a unit or even a class. The summative assessments are unsuitable for formative purposes because they don't provide useful feedback. And in this way, the summative assessments are useful at the end of the term so that the teachers don't have the opportunity to evaluate their students and change or put in practice another methodology to help their students in their teaching learning process. Another negative part of summative assessment is that this may not be specific or fine-grained enough to give teachers and students the detailed information they need to improve. Is that I said before. Here we can see some examples of summative assessment. One, we can put in practice this at the end of the term and midterm exams. This could be when have accumulated work over an extended period, such as a final project or creative portfolio. We can put in practice this summative assessment at the end of the unit or chapter tests. Oral assessment could be a speech, for example. Here we can see the difference between formative and summative assessment. The primary difference between formative assessment and summative assessment is the time period in which they are given, while summative assessment is given upon completion of a unit, and the formative assessment is ongoing during the class. The goal of formative assessment is to help the teachers to determine any gaps in students' knowledge and areas where they can improve, allowing teachers to alter their lesson planning accordingly. Another key difference is that summative assessments are often graded material, while formative assessment can range from students or peer assessment to teacher assessment or general observation. At the same way, formative assessment is used before instruction to find out where students are, and during instruction to find out how they are progressing. And on the other hand, summative assessment is just we can put in practice just at the end of the chapter or at the end of the chemistry, for example. So we can have very necessary information of our students to change our lessons planning and help them in their teaching learning process. In conclusion, we use formative assessment to improve instruction and provide the students feedback, while summative assessment are used to measure students' competency. We use formative assessment continuously through the lesson unit, for example, while summative assessment are used at the end of the lesson unit. I think that it's important for the students, the formative assessment, because it allows them to know where they need, what content they need to improve. On the other hand, summative assessment are used to gauge progress of grade or levels goals. Formative assessment formative assessment is used for teachers with the objective of check the levels of understanding, while summative assessment is for grading and promotion for the next levels or grades. Thank you.